Oh, New York just looking stunning this morning. It is 7:43. Thanks for being with us. Well, in the face of a changing administration in Washington, it's important to have your finances in order to prepare for the future. And that's where we are joined this morning by Brent Wilsey from Wilsey Asset Management with some tips on what we could see in this Trump administration and how that might change people's investing profiles. So, Brent, good morning.
Good morning.
What are you hearing overall from customers about their investments?
Well, I mean, most customers are pretty confident now. They're pretty happy and stuff. And after the election, things went very well. I do want to say we have 4 years of President Trump in office, so there's going to be good things and bad things. And by the way, he's only the second president that's rang the bell in the New York Stock Exchange. Reagan was the only other one that did that. President Reagan did. So that was a big thing. It shows he's pro-business, and that's what I want people to understand. He's pro-business. If you're afraid of investing, you should be investing. He even did point out in an interview in the New York Stock Exchange, he goes, well, just remember, stocks don't just go up. They do go up and down. So he didn't make a recommendation to invest in stocks, but he's saying just be prepared for more of a down period. But investing-wise, I mean, and who he's picked so far in his administration, they're worth, not including Elon Musk, about $13 billion. So he's got good, smart business people that's going to help run the country.
Which is, you know, a bit of a change, the business backgrounds there, speaking of the cabinet members. One of the things that's been talked about a lot, of course, are the tariffs.
Yeah.
And all of this now is just proposals, and we all know what a negotiator and deal maker Donald Trump is known to be. Do you believe a lot of this is saber-rattling, or what we'll see, or how do you think we should be reacting to the talk of tariffs?
I think President-elect Trump, I always forget the elect, is a very good, strong negotiator. He's a tough negotiator. And China is going to be the tough one because we do have a trade imbalance of about $270 billion with China. He wants to correct that. Now, China also, they're very tough as well. They want to keep what they have. And the problem is that, you know, how hard is China going to play with us? Because Trump, while a great negotiator, China may say, no, we're not going to give in yet. They will eventually have to. Their economy is not that strong, so we are in a much better position than they are. But we could see, if the tariffs don't go well, we could see some problems. We could see a little bit of rising inflation, some turmoil in the markets. So we as investors, you know, we're prepared for the worst. I worry all the time. Better that way, say, oh, everything's fine, and then you get hit. I believe they'll go well, but we're also prepared for maybe they don't go so well. So be prepared for that.
And, you know, people are looking to the stock market. Will it be better under a Donald Trump as president? What do you say? You
know, I've often said for many years, and I've been doing this now for 40 years, the president's very important, but business leaders will find ways to make money no matter who the president is. Now, again, we do have a favorable president coming in that's, again, pro-business. He wants to do such things as cut the corporate tax rate for businesses down to 15% corporate rate. Now, you got to produce 100% of your product in the United States to get that, but still that's a huge benefit. That's a lot more money coming in for the business to do the right thing, and he's very good to give people incentives to do the right thing to grow our country. He's very pro-American. And then also, too, he is looking at regulations. I know before he had, like, if you want to add a regulation, we got to take 2 off. And that helps businesses because businesses, we are so highly regulated, it costs money for that. So if we can get less expenses for businesses, they'll make more profits, their stock will go up, people's 401ks will go up, their investments will go up, everybody wins. But it's not going to happen in 1 month or 2 months. It's going to take time. Over his 4-year time frame, I think we'll do very well.
Do you advise people to invest differently under a Trump administration? I mean, there are things like Bitcoin that were going down that have really benefited because he seems to be pro-Bitcoin and other digital markets like that. Can you talk a little bit about how you would advise people to invest differently under a Trump administration?
Sure. And he's not pro-Bitcoin, but the last administration was really against Bitcoin. Anti-Bitcoin, and they were very heavy on the regulations. What President-elect Trump is going to be doing is going to say, look, we're not going to come after you. And what he has said, if Bitcoin is the leader in the world, we want to be part of that. It does conflict with his other side that he wants a strong dollar because they're two different things, but he just wants a free market. And if people want to speculate on Bitcoin, he's saying, go ahead and do it. It's your risk. And the SEC will still be there,
Yeah.
but he's not so negative on Bitcoin. He's not a pro-Bitcoin person, but he is looking at that. So you want to be careful with that. But other than that, I mean, you want to be investing in, I think next year that medical and healthcare will do well. Even though RFK is coming in, I think that's been overblown. I think that will do well. I think defense will do well also. But I got to tell people, avoid bonds, because I do believe that rates at best will be about where they're at. So you may be stuck with a 4% return versus investing in equities, the good quality equities at good prices. You'll probably do much better than that, maybe around a 10 to 12% is what you could do on the equity side.
All right, some good takeaways.
Thank you.
Brent, thank you. And WilseyAssetManagement.com is the place to go if you want some more advice. Brent, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll take a quick break.